as you can. It is not just cold and windy, it is an extremely sloppy field along the boundaries. As we get ready for football on this day, and the wind has already taken the football off the kicking tee before David Akers runs into it and kicks it to the Redskins, who will receive to start this day. So now Quentin Michael will hold the football. Rock Cartwright is waiting deep for it. And off we go. And you can tell which way the wind's blowing. From our right to our left, and the wind blew that ball out of the back of the end zone. And here comes the offense, led onto the field by Jason Campbell, and an offense that is ranked 17th in the NFL, the passing attack 19th. And what a great start for this offense, and for Jason Campbell in particular, Troy. It has certainly tapered off since that 6-2 beginning.
Yeah, I think his performance has really been reflective of the entire offense, which is usually the case when you're talking about your quarterback. I'll tell you, this isn't the type of defense you want to try to get things going with.
Over the middle, Chris Cooley, who had a career-high 109 yards receiving in the first matchup between these two at Philly. It was a game where the Eagles jumped out, led 14-0 early, and then the Redskins took over and won that game. You look at this defense, and Jim Johnson, Troy, has this group flying around.
You know, they've always been good. They've always done a good job of getting pressure on the quarterback. They create turnovers and, you know, play very aggressive. They're playing as well right now as I've seen them in a long time.
Portis over the left side picks up a yard, we'll give him, and it brings up third down. And this is a down that defensively Jim Johnson's club has really dominated. Overall for the year, 31.8% on third down, but of late this is a defense that's been able to get off the field.
Yeah, and that's been the real key to why they've been so successful here in recent weeks, and certainly why they've done such a great job of controlling the time of possession on the offensive side of the ball too.
Third down and 4, and this is Betts out of the backfield, makes a nice catch, and he's forced out of bounds with a first down at the 36 by Asante Samuel.
Well, that's a good start for Washington offensively. I know that going back to the first meeting between these two teams, one of the real problems for Philadelphia on defense was that they couldn't get off the field on third down. And so here Washington, faced with their first third down, a down for them that they've not had a lot of success with throughout the year, and to convert that first one, that's got to help them gain a little confidence.
So a first down at the 36, play action, good fake by Campbell, and that pass may have been tipped, incomplete for Santana Moss. Just to give you the numbers, that over the last 3 games the opposition on third down has been 9 for 33, just 27% against this Eagles defense, and so far 1 for 1 of the Redskins in this tilt between these two divisional rivals. Welcome in a new audience, and this is the opening possession of this game. Third down conversion for a first down by Washington, and now it will be third and long as Clinton Portis picks up 2. You're just joining us, a lot on the line, as there usually is with these conference and in particular divisional matchups. And for Philadelphia, Andy Reid is in a situation where he has taken his club to the postseason 6 times in his 9 previous years, and he could make it 7 of 10 if Philly can win here today and then next week at home against Dallas. Third and 8. A blitz. Redskins and Campbell have it stripped away. Washington gets back on top, but it's fourth down. Casey Robach, the center, got back on top of it after it was stripped away by the Eagles. And it'll be fourth down and a punt coming from Ryan Plaquemire.
You know, Philadelphia on that last third down, they just go all out blitz, man to man on the outside, no safety in the middle of the field. Jason Campbell's done a good job protecting the ball for the most part, something he was unable to do a year ago.
Plaquemire hits it into the wind, and the rookie Deshaun Jackson, decent return out to the 35. We'll take a break. 6-yard return when we come back. Donovan McNabb and the Eagles offense on the field. No score. Jason Campbell going over the pictures from that first possession on that last drop back by Campbell. He just dropped the football. Nobody knocked it out. It just slipped out of his hand. Robach got back on top of it, then the punt, and now starting at their own 35 for the Eagles. And a quick throw, L.J. Smith. Forward progress out to the 40, a gain of 5, and we look at this offense. And for Donovan McNabb, he's been on a great run. The 3-0 record since the benching at Baltimore. The completion percentage way up. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, and they've had a lot of changes up front on this offensive line.
Yeah, particularly there at right guard with Sean Andrews not having played now since the second game of the season. I really think that that's affected their ability to run the ball effectively this year.
Here is Westbrook on 2nd down and 5, and Westbrook picks up 3. 3rd down and 2 coming up, and now the defense, which Troy, statistically, you look at the numbers and they're not bad. They're 5th ranked overall in the NFL. But really what's killed this defense is the inability to make a play late in the game to get off the field and give the team a chance to win.
Yeah, and I think that when it's all said and done, that's really how you determine what are the great defenses around the league. When it doesn't matter much. In fact, Greg Blosch, the defensive coordinator, said as much to us the other day. It doesn't matter what we do for the first 3 quarters, first 3.5 quarters of the game. If when the game's on the line we can't get off the field, then we're not good enough.
3rd down and 2. McNabb in trouble. Gets his out valve to Deshaun Jackson. And the rookie escapes a tackler and picks up 8 and a 1st down. Andre Carter with big pressure on Donovan McNabb.
Well, Donovan McNabb doing a good job of just buying himself some time. You see Carter coming around the end, and Donovan being able to retreat just enough before getting the ball to Deshaun Jackson. And what a rookie season he has had. I think that coming into the year they anticipated that he would be productive and be helpful, but because of some of the early injuries at that wideout position that continued throughout much of the year, he's been the primary guy.
Leading receiver, 59 catches now. Closing in on the Eagles rookie mark for receiving yards in a season. 1st down Philly, and it will be a false start. 1st and 15.
False start. Offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
You can hear the wind and its effect on the microphone of Jerome Boger, and we were down there on the field. It's a sloppy field, certainly around the boundary of it, and the wind. I mean, these quarterbacks were having a tough time throwing the ball during warm-ups.
Well, you see those flags, then like you said, hearing the wind whip through the mic there of our referee, and that's ultimately what affects a quarterback throwing the football. That's why running the football for both of these teams is going to be very important in this game.
Here is Westbrook. Lost a yard. Rocky McIntosh and Cornelius Griffin in there to make the play defensively. A loss of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 16.
I know that a lot has been made of the job that Donovan McNabb has done over these last 3 games, but as we said coming into this game, I think a big part of it is the fact that they have committed, unlike anything we've really seen from Andy Reid while he's been the head coach here in Philadelphia, and just say, hey, we're going to run the football. Brian Westbrook is as healthy as he has been. I think that's taken a great deal of pressure off Donovan McNabb.
Play clock at 1 as McNabb gets it away and now throws over the middle, and the pass broken up by London Fletcher. Deshaun Jackson, the intended receiver, and Fletcher feels as if he was robbed not getting voted to the Pro Bowl this year.
Fletcher there, the middle linebacker. He plays deep so that he can then drive on the ball. You see him come through close as to whether or not he maybe went through Deshaun Jackson's back prior to the ball arriving. You see Jackson wanting the call. But had Deshaun Jackson had come forward to get the ball just like London Fletcher did, then that would have been a completion instead of an incompletion.
Yeah, I think Fletcher may have gotten away with one there. 3rd down and 16. Down the middle of the field and incomplete for Avant. Let's go for a quick game break. Here's Kurt.
On a quick score in the big game in Minnesota, Atlanta's Michael Turner, league-leading 16th touchdown, put the Falcons on top 7-0. If the Falcons win their last two, they're in as a wild card. If Minnesota wins one, they're the NFC North champion. Joe, Troy, and Pat.
All right, Kurt, and we'll continue to check in with Kurt and get not just game updates, but playoff updates as this day wears on from Maryland. Punt now by Sav Rocca, who just did get it away in a fair catch, signaled for by Antoine Randall. And then it's tapped down at the 20, a 35-yard punt that just got away off the foot of Sav Rocca. Like the Redskins, Jason Campbell got off to a great start, had the 5th best quarterback rating through the end of October, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. But Campbell has tapered off, and as it usually happens, so have the Redskins, now 7-7 overall, as this pass is out of the reach of the rookie Fred Davis. And the Washington Redskins, Troy, have had very little production out of their 3 second-round draft picks. Fred Davis, who was just overthrown there, Devin Thomas, who has only 14 catches, and Malcolm Kelly, the rookie out of Oklahoma, who has just 3 catches. I mean, those are 3 big picks that haven't done much at all.
Well, they haven't, and there's no doubt that if this offense ultimately is going to be what they want it to be as they go into next year, those young players are going to have to emerge.
Campbell, plenty of time, and here is Devin Thomas with a catch. Taps his feet, hops out of bounds with a 17-yard completion. First down.
You know, that time Jason Campbell had time within the pocket, and he's throwing into the wind, and this ball, from at least my perspective, looked like it was moving pretty good. A little bit of a knuckleball as far as how it was gliding there with the wind, and a good job by Devin Thomas of hanging with it and getting his feet in before going out of bounds.
Second first down of this first quarter for Washington. This one's batted into the air, and it drops incomplete. Jaquay Parker got up and got his hands up, and then almost had a shot at the interception. 2nd and 10.
You know, I think you made a good point, Joe, about Jason Campbell and the way that he started off this season and the things that he was able to do, and therefore this offense was really rolling, and they get off to that 6-2 start. Since then, he's had the turnovers, and you know, the quarterback is always going to be a lot of the focus, but I really think that as it relates to this Redskins team, it really has come down to them not running the football as effectively as they did early.
Here's an effective run by Clinton Portis, picks up 9.5. And interesting that working into the wind, of the 10 plays that the Redskins have run so far, 7 have been pass plays. This one from Clinton Portis is about half a yard shy of a first down.
This has got to be a little bit concerning anyway for Jim Johnson. I know that going back to that first game, as effective as what the Redskins were running the football, over 200 yards rushing in that game, that you know they've rattled off a couple nice runs here in this first quarter.
Hand off to Portis, and he won't get it. Actually lost half a yard. And good push up front and help with blitzing linebackers for this Philly D.
You know, this defense for Philadelphia, they just, you know, they slide very well, and they're very quick to pursue at the point of the attack. And you see that Clinton Portis is trying to get outside, and as he's running outside, he's looking for a crease to get going downhill. But this defense is very disciplined. They're very good in maintaining their gap controls, and just nowhere for Clinton Portis then to get going north and south.
So another punt from Plaquemire. And a good one. Really good one. How about that from Ryan Plaquemire, who started this season in Seattle? 50-yard punt. Nothing on the return. And they will mark the ball inside the 5 at the 4.
Staff Sergeant Talia Ferguson. I'm in Joint Base Balad. I just wanted to give a shout out to my family and my husband back home. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and happy 30-year anniversary, baby. I hope to see you guys again soon. Love you. Bye.
And right back at you, Staff Sergeant Ferguson. And thank you for all that you do. Yesterday, the entire officiating crew with Art McNally visited Bethesda Naval Hospital and Walter Reed Medical Center. We met servicemen and women who are just back from overseas. So an emotional day for this crew. And starting at their own 4 are the Eagles. And a handoff to Westbrook. Ducks in behind a blocker and gets some breathing room for this Eagles offense. 12 yards over the left side and a first down for the Eagles.
You know, interesting what Washington is doing here defensively. They're going with their, what you would believe is their base personnel, and that they only have 5 defensive backs in the game. However, 3 of them are corners. They have Sean Springs, D'Angelo Hall, and Carlos Rogers, and then the lone safety being LaRon Landry. So 4 defensive backs, still your 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers, and that's to help them in the pass defense.
Here's Correll Buckhalter getting it over the right side and picking up 2. And you can see celebrating is Marcus Washington, who is back after missing the last 4 games with a high ankle sprain. 2nd down and 8. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost at home today to the San Diego Chargers, the playoff picture really in each conference becomes a lot more interesting, and certainly for the Eagles, who now have their playoff chances within their own control. If they win here today and then at home next week against Dallas, they're in. 2nd and 8. Pass is caught by Selleck, bounces off a tackler and picks up, it appears to be enough for a first down. Went right through D'Angelo Hall. And a terrific catch and run by Brent Selleck.
Yeah, it sure is. And Selleck he's really come on for this team. He's gotten more playing time here in recent weeks than L.J. Smith. D'Angelo Hall, I'll tell you, I've been impressed in the few games that I've been able to see since he joined the Redskins, that he's not afraid to get in there and make tackles. You see a lot of these cover corners, as he is not willing to do that. He is. And he wasn't able to bring Selleck down on that play, but for the most part, he does a good job tackling.
It was a first down for Selleck, and now McNabb is chased and then flips, and it takes off, goes over the head of Klecko. Incomplete. Take a look at some of the early game headliners, and Matt Castle part of a dismantling on the part of the New England Patriots against the visiting Arizona Cardinals on a snowy day in New England. Drew Brees took apart the Lions defense, and then Phillip Rivers, who helped take apart the Tampa Bay defense, and with that Carolina has clinched a playoff spot. And with that loss by Tampa Bay, now the Dallas Cowboys are very much alive, heading into their final weekend at Philly next Sunday. 2nd and 10. Westbrook picks up 2. Let's go back to Kurt for a game break.
Minnesota answers Atlanta. Tavares Jackson with his 6th touchdown pass of the year, hooking up with Asante Shenko. Now, Shenko was actually tackled at the 1, but Atlanta did not challenge. It was called a touchdown, and it stood. So it's 7-7. Minnesota with a win, clinches the NFC North. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt, thank you. Good game in the Twin Cities, and now a 3rd and 8 for the Eagles. McNabb in trouble. Down he goes. And a sack for Washington. That's Jason Taylor.
And Jason Taylor can thank the coverage on this one, because Donovan McNabb had some time initially, but they were in what they would call a 2-deep man-under defense. You see they've got the safeties deep, man underneath everywhere else, and just nowhere to go with the football. McNabb hung in there as long as he could before Taylor was able to come in from behind and get the sack.
Rocca punts it. Antoine Randall L. watches it take a bounce right into his chest. Sheldon Brown can't bring him down, and now the play, that was Hansen who had a shot at him. A 2-yard return by Antoine Randall L. Jason Taylor made that last play, and he was not alone. Washington has it. First quarter, no score. Now McNabb will bundle up, stand on the sideline, and watch the Eagles defense Contend with this Redskins offense. No score. We've seen 4 possessions and 4 punts. Clinton Portis gets it. And Clinton Portis is brought down by Patterson. How about the season so far for Jim Zorn in his first year?
You know, I just feel like the worst coach in America to have to lose the way we're losing.
And a 7-7 record, and basically on life support for their playoff chances as they play here today. Good throw, good catch by Santana Moss. And a first down for the Redskins. Santana Moss, who was shut out in the Redskin victory at Philadelphia. Good for 8 and a first down with 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
You know, those comments that we heard from Jim Zorn that he made this past week, and in talking with him, he didn't say it, but I sensed that he wished maybe that he hadn't have said those things. And he didn't say he was the worst coach. He just felt like it at that time.
Here's Clinton Portis to the 45. And whether it's fair or not, because he works for Dan Snyder, who in 10 years has had 5 different head coaches, 6 if you count interim coach Terry Rubisky. He's very much on the hot seat, and then getting into that war of words or hearing the sarcastic words from his star running back Clinton Portis calling him a quote-unquote genius a couple of weeks ago didn't help either. 2nd down and 4, and now Portis over the right side. First down, Washington at the Philadelphia 40.
Well, I know the big question about Jim Zorn coming into the season was how was he going to be able to tackle all the roles of being quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, as well as a first-time head coach, and all of those fears really got alleviated pretty quickly. You know, yeah, they didn't play well in the opener against the Giants, but after that, you know, going on a 6-1 run to be 6-2 after 8 ball games, but now all that discussion has resurfaced, and I know in talking with Jim, he has said he does not feel overwhelmed with all that he is doing.
Here is the rookie. That's Fred Davis. 2nd-round pick. Gets 6 in a pretty good drive being put together here by the Redskins. Akeem Jordan on that tackle for the Eagles.
Well, good job up front of giving Jason Campbell some time, and you know, Fred Davis, I know Jim Zorn said he's the most improved player that they have on their offense, that he kept making plays in practice, and finally they said, hey, this guy's really showing us a lot. Let's see what he can do in the games. And he's been able to make some plays here over the last couple of weeks.
Handoff is to Liddell Betts, and he is brought down on a good play by Trent Cole. No gain. Cole was a Pro Bowler last year, will not be this year. Made that last play. 3rd down when we start the 2nd quarter from Maryland after the break. There's a good look at that playoff beard that a lot of the Eagles are growing.
You know, in talking with Jim Johnson, he told us, he said that he'd like to shave, that he doesn't think that he's a beard guy. I think he underestimates himself. I think he is a beard guy.
I think he should.
What do you
shave.
think?
No, I know his wife hates it. If your wife hates you got to get rid of it. That's the way it works in my house.
That's the way it works at every house.
3rd down and 4 for the Redskins. On the edge of field goal range, and what a good play on Santana Moss, made by Akeem Jordan, who's making his 5th straight start, and he's made a difference on this Eagles defense.
Well, he has, and Jim Johnson was telling us that, hey, Akeem Jordan is a guy who just has made plays, and we were looking to get him on the field prior to when they finally did, putting him in for Omar Gaither, and this is what he does best. He's been a good cover guy, and then to be able to make a tackle on Santana Moss in the open field, pretty good. Of course, Santana Moss never even able to get anything going in space because Jordan was right on top of him.
It's a 54-yard try now after a loss of 2 on that catch, and the Redskins may think about this decision. Right now they have the field goal team out on the field on 4th down. Timeout, Washington. Redskins might consider a quick kick in honor of the late Sammy Baugh. This is a long field goal try for Sweden. 54 yards. Quentin Demps, the rookie, is waiting deep just in case he has a chance for a return. and the kick is way short. And Demps is going to try and return it. He's on his own. Has a chance for a return. And a good bit of running by Demps. Eventually brought down by Sweezum, a 55-yard return. And with this swirling wind, Sweezum was way short and takes it out across his own 45 to the 47. With the swirling wind, Sweezum, who has now missed an NFL high 10 kicks on the year, was short. As it turns out, Demps made the return. It's only a difference of 3 yards in field position. Had he just let it go or taken a knee in the end zone, they would have taken over at their own 44. After the 55-yard return, they take over at their own 47. And the pass complete to Buckhalter, good for 11 and a first down.
Yeah, well, you can tell that the Eagles practiced this, because knowing that they had a chance maybe for a return, Trent Cole as well as Darren Howard immediately started out to the sideline, and you see the wall that was then formed for Demps. And it's just like a kickoff return on a left return. And Demps got it and knew exactly where he was going to run, where he had his blockers to gain the most amount of yards.
Play action from McNabb, just dumps it off to L.J. Smith, and he drops it. Turned his head, started to run, didn't have it. Here's Kurt Menefee with a game break.
And here go the Atlanta Falcons again. This time Matt Ryan on the little shovel pass to Jarius Norwood. Falcons take a 14-7 lead, and after recalculation, it has been decided that if Atlanta beats Minnesota today, they're in the playoffs as a wild card. Of course, Minnesota needing to win the North. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right. And it also keeps Chicago alive if Atlanta wins in Minnesota in the NFC North. So a chance for the Falcons to secure a spot in the first-year head coach Mike Smith. Delayed handoff to Westbrook, who eventually gets hit by London Fletcher, a gain of 4. First guy there was Cornelius Griffin. Bringing a little more manageable third down, and while the Eagles, Troy, have been good defensively on third down during this 3-game win streak, they've been outstanding offensively at 66% on third down during this 3-game run.
And I think a part of that also is because they've been able to keep it in third and manageable downs, because like what we saw on second down, hey, you run it to Westbrook, you know, now 3rd and 6, well, you can handle that.
Good pocket for McNabb, who fires to Klecko, the fullback. And with Blades there, he stopped well short of a first down, just a gain of 2, and now the punt team will come on the field for Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was kind of interested in seeing what exactly Andy Reid was going to decide to do, because they're kind of in that gray area as well, much like the Redskins were a moment ago. And okay, do we want to punt it and pin them down in there and rely on our defense, or maybe try to go for it? But in a game like this, at least what we've seen so far, it is a game of field position, and the way Philadelphia has played defensively, I like the fact they're punting the ball here.
Yeah, the Eagles pass on a 54-yard field goal try. And with the nose of the football down, the kick by Rocca ends up in the arms of Antoine Randall. 24-yard punt, nothing on the return, and the Redskins will take over inside their own 15. Jason Campbell is trying to stay on the sideline with a jacket on as long as he can. Born in Mississippi, played at Auburn. It is a chilly, windy day here in Landover. Redskins are wearing the decal number 33 to honor the life and the career of the late Sammy Baugh, who passed away this week at the age of 94. One of the greatest players in the history of the National Football League, as Clinton Portis falls forward to the 20. Tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, don't miss the Prison Break Fall Finale. Every covert plan, every double cross, every shocking revelation has all been leading up to one unbelievable moment. The Prison Break Fall Finale tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. 2nd down and 4 for the Redskins. And delayed handoff is to Portis, and he gets nothing. Wrapped up by Trevor Laws, a rookie, second-round pick out of Notre Dame. 3rd down and 4, and whether, Troy, it's Trevor Laws or Dan Klecko or Aviamiri or Darren Howard, they really rotate a lot of guys on this defensive line to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, it's been a defense that they've been fortunate in the fact that they've remained pretty healthy for the most part, and at least healthier than most teams around the league. And you know, and to be able to shuffle guys and keep players fresh, that really pays dividends when you get into the later parts of the game.
On 3rd down, Campbell throws and completes to Santana Moss. And Campbell is slow to get up. He really took a hit as he let this pass go for a 12-yard completion.
I tell you, and Jason Campbell does a good job. You know, really, he's a pocket passer, and if you're going to do that, you got to be willing to stand in the pocket and then take the big hit, as he does here from Darren Howard. You know, really nice job. You know, no one envies the quarterback when they have to do that, but sometimes you have to in order to deliver a pass and convert a 3rd down, and a good job by him.
1st down at their own 31. A blitz from the Eagles. Redskins pick it up, and this ball sails a bit out of the hand of Campbell and off the left hand of Chris Cooley.
We talked a little bit about it earlier about the wind certainly being a factor in this ball game, but I know that that's one of the things that has, I don't want to say frustrated Jim Zorn, but it's a part of it with Jason Campbell and some of his development that, you know, at times he'll make very good throws, and there's times when there's easy throws and he hasn't made those. Certainly missed a couple of in last week's game against the Bengals, but overall I know Jim Zorn feels very good about Jason Campbell and the development he's had this year.
Trying to set up a screen. They do for Portis, and Portis picks up a Washington 1st down. Brought down from behind by Mike Patterson. 11 yards and a Redskins 1st down.
I still just think Clinton Portis is the heart and soul of this Redskins team, and he does so much. And I know that he's gone through a lot of injuries this year. He's played through a number of them. He's playing today with back spasms just a couple of days ago. Can't imagine that he's completely healed from that. But I think he really provides this offense with some life.
Jason Campbell just went over 3,000 yards for the first time in his career throwing the ball on that 11-yard completion to Portis. This is Betts. He gains 4.
Yeah, I know last week you made the comment referring to Clinton Portis calling Jim Zorn the genius, and you know, a lot was made of that. And I know that as a coach, you sometimes get frustrated when a player's not practicing during the week. But when it's Clinton Portis, you know, Redskin fans certainly understand the pounding that this player takes week in and week out. I just believe the Redskins are a much better football team when Clinton Portis is playing as opposed to when he's on the sidelines.
Now 2nd down, and Campbell. That one is into the hands of Betts. Nearly intercepted by Stuart Bradley. And instead, it's a 10-yard completion. How'd that ball get in there?
Yeah, that was a risky throw because Stuart Bradley, you could tell, I mean, his eyes lit up when he saw that the ball was coming his way, and I think he thought he was going to be able to get a hand on this one and maybe even make an interception. But, you know, Jason Campbell able to barely thread that one through. I mean, obviously a touchdown if Stuart Bradley was able to make that play.
As it is, 10 yards, a 1st down. And the ball inside the Philadelphia 45 at the 43. Campbell with all day. Goes for the home run for Moss, and the pass incomplete. Good coverage downfield by Sheldon Brown and Quentin Demps. Jason Campbell is a big-bodied, big-armed quarterback, and he let it show there. And now Portis holding on to that left arm or left hand heads off the field.
I tell you, you just think about the years that Clinton Portis has had here with the Redskins. I mean, he's gained a lot of yards during that time, but he has taken a beating, and he's earned every yard he's gotten.
Pass complete to Cooley, brought down by Bradley. It'll be 3rd and short coming up. Portis within this game just for the 4th time in the last 5 years went over 300 carries on the season, and he is listed at 5'11", 220 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, those first 2 years in the league when he was playing for Denver, he was averaging about 5.5 yards per carry. And when he came here, that has gone down considerably. It started out this year that he was around 5 yards per carry. This year, even when you look at the whole year, you can see the numbers that he has. But well, he fights for every yard. You rarely see him just go down. He certainly has my respect.
This is going to be against Philadelphia. A free play for Washington, and Campbell hops out of bounds. It's 3rd down and 5, and it looked like Chris Clemens was lined up in the neutral zone. The official threw the flag immediately. This is against Philadelphia, and maybe enough for a 1st down.
Offside. Defense, number 91, lining up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
So a free 1st down because 91, Chris Clemens, was lined up in the neutral zone.
Well, these defensive ends and tackles, I mean, they try crowding the ball as much as they can, and as long as they don't get carried away with it, I think the official will give them the benefit of the doubt. But clearly, you know, he was in the neutral zone, and a nice call.
Clemens, who had 8 sacks last year with Oakland, has just 2 this year. Also a former Redskin. Gives Washington a free pass to a 1st down. Betts ran into a wall and then spins, picks up an extra yard, gets 2 on the run. We look ahead to next week's schedule, and we are still uncertain because of playoff implications and what games will be deemed more important than others as to what time the games will start. But Dallas at Philadelphia, the Giants at Minnesota could be a big one, as it turns out. Chicago at Houston, Carolina and New Orleans. Carolina is in. We know that these games are late. Washington at San Francisco, Seattle at Arizona, and the Cardinals will be just trying to get a win to get some kind of momentum back before the playoffs. They'll go in as the 4th seed.
Well, isn't it amazing that when you look at the New York Giants, and depending on what happens in the Minnesota game and then what happens tonight with the Giants, but if the Vikings do win and the Giants lose, then next week's game is being played for the number 2 seed between the Giants and the Vikings. And who would have thought just a couple of weeks ago that the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC would not be going through the Meadowlands? But yet that may not happen. But of course, if they win tonight, then it will.
Then they secure the number 1 spot. On 3rd and 6, pass caught by Betts. What a catch. 1st down, Redskins at the Philadelphia 20.
You know, the Eagles get a free blitzer on Jason Campbell, and he's able to get outside the pocket, buy himself some time, and get the throw then to Liddell Betts. A pretty good catch there for Liddell Betts, a big guy, a big back, and for him to be running towards the sideline and reverse his field and make that play, good job. And you see Asante Samuel coming in leading with the helmet. That could have been pretty ugly.
Under 5 to play in a quick moving 1st half. Now Rock Cartwright over the right side. Not much. He is smacked by Demps. A gain of only 1, and you wonder if we had that shot of Clinton Portis, if there is more to it. We haven't seen him since. It'll be 2nd down and 9. And this is the first time now that either team has been inside the red zone. And the Philly defense, that defending in the red zone, has allowed the 2nd fewest trips inside the 20 by opponents, but they're 27th best with regard to touchdown percentage by the opposition.
Yeah, teams don't get down there that often, but when they do, they generally come away with touchdowns.
Santana Moss. Asante Samuel made the play. Dawkins out there to help. 7-time Pro Bowler, and a gain of 5. 3rd down and short coming up. 3rd and 4.
Well, and you knew coming into this game with what happened in the Tampa Bay game, clearly the Eagles control their own destiny in terms of getting into the playoffs. Even though the Redskins aren't mathematically out, in all likelihood, even if they were to win the next 2 games, they won't get in. But yet you knew that it was going to be a hard-fought game and a close game when you're talking about division rivals.
3rd down and 4. Campbell over the middle, and it's broken up, still in the air and incomplete. Quentin Michael broke it up and then had a shot and an interception. Gokong and Akeem Jordan did as well, and it's 4th down.
Boy, you talk about being fortunate for the Washington Redskins. A ball that was forced in there, 2 defenders. And anytime the ball goes up like that, it's usually intercepted. The Redskins very fortunate now to be having an opportunity for 3 points.
32-yard try coming from Sweezum, who missed from 54. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is drilled. And the Redskins have the first points of the day. Nearly an interception by the Eagles. Instead, 3 for Washington with 3:24 left in the half. That last drive by the Redskins, 16-play drive. That's a season high. 8:31 off the clock, a season high. Covered 72 yards, and it ended with a Sweezum 32-yard field goal. And for the Redskins, their first lead in their last 4 games. They fell behind 17-0 at Cincinnati last week and lost a crusher on the road to continue their slide, which is now 1-5 and an overall record of 7-7.
Yeah, and I know in talking with Jim Zorn, you know, they would say, hey, you know, some of the reasons why we've struggled so much offensively is because of the defenses that they've played. I mean, Dallas and the Giants and Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and I would agree with that. It's hard to move the football against those teams, but it doesn't explain only 13 points last week against Cincinnati.
Now D'Angelo Hall's going to have to come in and hold the ball, which has been blown off the kicking tee twice by this wind, and just right off the tee. Looks like a good magic trick from John Dornbos, the long snapper of the Philadelphia Eagles. An accomplished magician.
That's right. I forgot about that. He is, isn't it?
That's one of the best production meetings we've ever had. Sweezum hits it, and Quentin Dimps will take a knee. So the Eagles, with 3 timeouts and 3:24 on the scoreboard clock, will take over down 3. Eight-and-a-half-minute advantage in ball control for the Washington Redskins, who lead 3-0. And now inside our booth, I would say to this point, the Washington Redskins have outplayed the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I would agree with that too, because I mean, the graphics showed the time of possession clearly in Washington's favor, and then, you know, Philadelphia just hasn't gotten anything yet going offensively, and some of the things that have allowed them to win here over the last 3 weeks, they are not doing here in this ball game in the first half, converting on 3rd downs and creating some of the big plays that we're accustomed to seeing from them within the passing game.
Yeah, and really the 2 names are McNabb and Westbrook, and so far that combination's been shut down by this Washington defense. Here is Westbrook gaining 2. 3 timeouts are left for the Eagles. And boy, it's fun to gauge the reaction of Greg Blosch, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins, whenever you mention the name Brian Westbrook. He thinks he is the most dangerous player in the NFL.
Yeah, I know the first time these 2 teams met, he said he thought that he was the best offensive player in the NFL, and then this time he certainly feels that he's the most explosive player in the NFL. He has great respect, as everyone does really around the league, for Westbrook.
This one is off the hands of L.J. Smith, who has a couple of drops in this half. And let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, I wanted to give you an update on Clinton Portis. He was in some obvious pain there for a while as the trainers attended to his left hand. They have determined that Portis has a bruised left hand, and his return is probable.
All right, so probable return. Hey, we feel your pain down there on the field. We're sheltered by this booth. Cold, windy night in Landover, Maryland. The Eagles, who have only 48 yards of offense, are faced with 3rd and 8. And a timeout taken by the Eagles. We've talked about Sammy Baugh, who passed away this week at the age of 94. He played with the Redskins from 1937. His first year, and the Redskins won the championship, to 1952. They also won in 1942, led the NFL in passing, punting, and interceptions in 1943. And in one game threw 4 touchdowns, intercepted 4 passes in one game. And that number 33 is the only number this organization has ever retired.
Well, you think about football in the late 30s and then throughout the 40s, and you just assume that those teams and those quarterbacks, all they did was run the football. But that's not what Sammy Ball was about. And there's a reason why they called him Slinging Sammy Ball, and it wasn't because he was handing it off to people.
And really a nickname that he got with a great arm that he showed on a baseball diamond. It's 3rd and 8. All day for McNabb, who comes to the near side for L.J. Smith. And L.J. Smith fights close to the 30 and depends on the spot. L.J. Smith with a couple of drops in this first half. Did all he could and maybe a little short.
Well, watch Westbrook. He wants to get out on this route. They chips on the defensive end rushing up the field, and on the outside with these receivers, they're doing a good job. The Redskins are of getting pretty physical with them, and there's just not a lot of places right now for Donovan McNabb to go with the football.
We can't see where they've placed the football. It's along the near sideline. Bodies are in the way. It looked like L.J. Smith was short of the 30, and with the nose of the football, it's enough for a first down. So L.J. Smith, Troy, with a couple of drops, but he really had to fight for what literally was a big first down here before the end of the half.
That was a great individual effort on his part to pick this up, because well short when first contact was made, and he just keeps driving and moving his feet and is able to pick it up. And for a guy who has not really been the tight end that they had hoped he would be when they picked him up, he's come on here in recent weeks. He, like Donovan McNabb, was benched a few weeks ago, but a nice play, nice individual effort by him.
Jason Taylor was pleading with Jim Zorn to throw the challenge flag for the spot. And I think when we looked at it on that first replay, I think they came very close to the correct spot, and I don't see any evidence to say that they would overturn it. Our yellow line is unofficial.
The Washington coaching staff has challenged the rule on the field of a first down.
So the challenge thrown by Jim Zorn. Jerome Boger will go under the hood, give it a look, and we'll get the call when we come back. It's a Redskins challenge of where this officiating crew spotted the football, and this is in that category of, is there enough evidence to overturn the call on the field? I would say that there isn't, but you could make a case that maybe the ball comes back a couple of inches because of where it is when the left elbow hits down by L.J. Smith.
Yeah, I think from that angle, Joe, you're right. I mean, it does not look like the ball gets to the line, to the 30-yard line, which is about where he needs to get to in order to pick up the first down. But I don't know that there's a definitive view, which is, as all of our fans there know, or all of our viewers know. I guess they're fans too. We can say that, right?
Not all.
But they certainly know that there's got to be clear-cut evidence in order to overturn it, which I guess the Pittsburgh fans would say, well, that's not necessarily the case for the Baltimore fans.
That's a good point. And, when we showed it with our yellow line in there, I'm not so sure that our yellow line was at the right spot around the 30. He didn't need to get all the way up to the 30 for the first down. They had it initially placed inches short of the 30, and it was enough for a first down. So we'll just have to wait and see what Jerome Boger. See our yellow line. I think you could make the case that the yellow line should have been on the other side of the 30, and then maybe it looks a little more obvious that he got it, but this is a coin flip in my mind. Let's get the call from Jerome Boger.
After reviewing the play, the spot where the run was down was 1 foot short of the 30-yard line. So we'll move the ball back to the 29.5 and play fourth down.
So they are going to move it. And I guess in Jerome Boger's estimation, where the ball was in relation to the 30 when the left elbow was down means that it isn't a first down for Philadelphia, and the punt team comes out for the Eagles.
That was somewhat surprising. I mean, it's one thing to say that he was short, but a foot short, I didn't see that.
Because the initial spot was short of the 30 as well, and it was enough for the first down. But as it is, with 2:16 left, Sab Rocca will punt in a 3-0 game. Redskins on top. Ugly punt. Out of bounds around the 39 of Washington. And Jason Taylor, I guess the leg's feeling better. He's having fun. And now with 2 timeouts left, we're at the 2-minute warning. 3-0 Redskins. Clinton Portis is back on the field in the huddle for the Redskins. So the challenge by Jim Zorn worked. Instead of continuing the drive, the Eagles had to punt. And with 1:59 left in this first half, the Redskins have 2 timeouts remaining and are up by 3. A blitz from the Eagles, and the pass behind Antoine Randall L. Clemens and Bradley were back there. It's been 26 games since Philadelphia's been shut out in the first half. It last happened week 4 last year against the Giants, and that's what they're facing here. Now, I'm sure Andy Reid is hoping to be able to take some timeouts on defense and have a chance to do something before the end of the half. Handoff is to Portis. Room to run. First down Redskins into Eagle territory. 14 yards.
Yeah, he won't be eager to call timeouts now, and a good call there on second down, and show draw and give the ball to Clinton Portis, and a good job up front really by this offensive line of the Redskins. Stephon Heyer making the start at left tackle for his 2nd week in a row, filling in for the Pro Bowl player Chris Samuels. Does a good job of opening up a hole for Clinton Portis.
This group also has Fabini at right tackle in place of the injured John Jansen. The pass is low, but caught by Santana Moss. Gain of 5. Plenty of time left and 2 timeouts on the scoreboard for Washington. Campbell throws and completes to Cooley. Pretty throw. And the completion for a first down, and now a flag comes in very late after the play was over. Indication is it's a hold. The result of the play is a first down anyway.
Holding defense number 55 has been declined. The result of the play is a first down.
They get Stuart Bradley for the hold, and it was on that catch by Cooley.
Yeah, initially you say that's really good coverage. It's a great throw, good concentration by Chris Cooley to make the play, but a good call there by the official because it was holding on Stuart Bradley, but they were still able to execute the play and make the completion.
Jim Zorn, after declining the penalty, wanted further clarification with 52 seconds left in the half. And now penalty flags.
False start. Offense number 26. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So that's on Clinton Portis. Makes it 1st and 15. The Visa halftime reports coming up. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats. We'll go through all the different playoff scenarios and where teams sit. That was the first Washington penalty of this game. A blitz. Campbell gets rid of it. Underneath, Liddell Betts. Picks up 9. Dawkins on the stop for the Eagles, and the clock continues to run.
Well, the Eagles went all-out blitz. No safety in the middle of the field. They had Dawkins on Betts, but Dawkins just gave him up too much yardage. He was playing so soft that it was an easy completion.
Out of the shotgun. Campbell is sacked, and he got hit hard by Darren Howard. And now Washington will spend one of their 2 remaining timeouts, and that was a big play by Howard. His 9th sack, and it pushes the ball all the way back to the 40.
Darren Howard's going to come from the right side, and a good job by him. You're right. I mean, a timely sack for the Philadelphia Eagles to really knock them out of field goal range. And you know, Darren Howard last year had a very disappointing season. He came off of that this year, and he's been one of their more productive defensive guys.
Makes it 3rd down and 14 with 26 seconds left. And the Redskins are right now out of field goal range for Sweezum. Jim Johnson, defensive coordinator, talks about the importance of 3rd downs more than he does blitzes and sacks. Here's a big one. Another blitz. Campbell steps up and throws it right into the ground.
You know, Jim Johnson, you called it, Joe. He came with the blitz, and the Redskins actually do a great job picking it up. They bring it from this side, but they block it up, and you can see that Campbell, he steps up. He could actually run for pretty good yardage on this, but he has an open guy right there in the middle, and just an errant throw. Now, they don't pick up the 1st down if they make that completion, but what they are able to do is attempt the field goal.
And instead, with the incompletion, it's the punt team out there, and for the Redskins, who have outgained the Eagles 158 to 55 yards. Still just a 3-point game as Plaquemire drives it into the end zone. And if you want to talk about Donovan McNabb, ABB, after the Baltimore benching.
Donovan McNabb will be our starting quarterback.
The numbers are big. In the 3 games since, a 3-0 record. Not turning the ball over. 7 touchdowns, just 1 interception. And a passer rating of just under 108. However, today, shut down by the defense of the Washington Redskins.
Well, I think a big part of it is the teams that they were playing during those 3-game wins. They played the Cardinals, not a great defensive unit. Of course, the Giants are, but they ran the ball very effectively. And then last week against the Browns, this Redskin team is very good defensively, and we're seeing that.
Philly is content to be down by 3 at the half, and maybe not. Philadelphia will call a timeout. Okay, so 7 seconds left, and the second timeout taken by the Eagles in a 3-0 game.
You know, we saw Andy Reid in that soundbite say that Donovan McNabb is our starting quarterback. When they benched Donovan, I was shocked that they went back to Donovan McNabb. That announcement was made the very next day. He didn't wait till later in the week. He made it on Monday. And he said that he always intended to go back to Donovan, that it was just a matter of putting him on the bench for that second half against Baltimore. I don't know about that. I think if Kevin Kolb had come off the bench and played well, I don't think Donovan then would have been announced the starter for the following game.
Now 7 seconds left in the half, 1 timeout. And a handoff to Westbrook. Why the Eagles spent that last time out, but they did, and now they run out the clock. And it's a 3-0 game at the half. Visa halftime report is coming up. The Eagles need a win here today, and then a hookup with the Dallas Cowboys next week. And the winner of that game will be in the postseason. 3-0 Washington after a half here in Landover.
The Visa Halftime Report, sponsored by Visa. No matter how you prepare for game day, Visa is the way to go.
All right, welcome to the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt Menefee along with Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. And the Eagles went out there in the playoffs, but right now they find themselves in a 3-0 hole at halftime against the Redskins.
Well, I'll tell you what, talk about a good young football team. Atlanta's at Minnesota. That's Michael Turner. Fantastic running back, went in from 1 yard out. 7-0 Falcons over the Vikings. Second quarter, Matt Ryan drops back, shovel pass. You got it. Jarius Norwood takes it in from 8 yards out. Awfully impressive, these young Falcons, as they lead the Vikings 17-7. That's a halftime score. Buffalo at Denver. Jay Cutler, bootleg. Play action one way, go the opposite. It's called a bootleg. 2-yard touchdown run, Howie. 7-0 Denver. You're welcome over the Buffalo Bills. Eddie Royal on a reverse. Jimmy, can you walk this fast or go this far?
Yes.
Okay, 71 yards. Does not score, but it does lead to a field goal. Denver 13, the Buffalo Bills 10. That is a halftime score. Houston at Oakland, Howie's hometown. The great Howie Long, Hall of Famer. Got it in, just like you wanted me to. Yeah. Jamarcus Russell, 20-yard strike to Chaz Shillings. It's 13, Houston and Oakland all tied up. And then Brett Favre and Mike Holmgren. Coach on the left, retiring after this year. Brett's already done it 4 times, so we'll just wait and see. Seneca Wallace to John Carlton.
Like a box.
The young tight end out of Notre Dame. 7-3 Seahawks on top of the visiting New York Jets.
The Jets need to win to keep pace with Miami atop the AFC East and set up a big showdown for next week. New England also 10-5 after a 40-point blowout of the Cardinals. Tennessee captures the #1 seed in the AFC. Pittsburgh #2 regardless of what happens next week. Cincinnati shuts out Cleveland. San Diego 17-point winners in Tampa Bay. San Francisco gives St. Louis its 9th straight loss. And the Detroit Lions become the first 0-15 team in league history. They will finish up next week at Green Bay trying to get
Congratulations
that first win of the season.
to the Lions.
You're mean.
It's a milestone.
You're a mean-spirited guy.
It's
Let's
good.
get back to teams that have playoff possibilities. Jimmy, Philadelphia, the last 3 weeks, I mean, they've been going up and down the field. What happened today?
Well, they've been going up and down the field because they've been running the ball 51% of the time. Only 7 runs today. 6 by Westbrook, 1 by Buckhalter. Buckhalter's only touched the ball twice. They need to run him a little bit more, start throwing the ball to Westbrook. They've got to get him involved more.
Well, the Redskins are doing a good job. Clinton Porter is averaging 4.6 yards a rush. Also, Liddell Betts is the leading receiver. So when he comes in, they're dumping it off to him, taking a little bit of pressure off of the quarterback, Jason Campbell. And, Howie, what do you think?
Well, I think the problem is Philly's having problems sustaining drives, only converting on 1/3 down. And Donovan's been hot, and today he just can't seem to find his rhythm. Washington doing a great job on 3rd down.
It's pretty cold there in Washington.
And
well, without Westbrook doesn't have this
But they're using all their players.
Folks, some of you get more highlights after this, others local news. Either way, we're back.
That is music befitting a rivalry like this. The Redskins and the Eagles, and a 3-0 game. Not much in the first half. Washington clearly outplayed the Eagles, who had a season-low 66 yards after a half, and they're their first half possessions. Not much of anything. However, there's the carrot on the end of the stick being dangled in front of the Eagles. They make the playoffs with a win today and next week at home over Dallas. Dallas, meanwhile, is still alive and thankful that Norv Turner, their longtime offensive coordinator, helped to save their chances by winning today down in Tampa, Florida. Here's Quentin Demps on the return. Looking for room to run and cannot make it out to the 20. Let's go down to the field. Here is Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, of course, with points being at a premium, that's what I talked to Jim Zorn about. He said a couple of things that he is going to stress. He said, first of all, we've got to stop disintegrating on 3rd down. He said he will call the game exactly the way he has been. This is kind of the norm for them. They tend to get off to a slow start. He did not seem overly concerned about that. He said eventually we will cross the goal line. Back to you.
All right, Pam, and he talks about liking to try and stay medium, which is his quote that he's used over and over this season. I would think that he has to be pleased with the way they move the ball between the 20s, or at least close to the Eagles 20, but then the drives hit a snag. McNabb almost stumbled and fell down, getting the ball back into the arms of Westbrook, and a gain of only 2.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Joe, that the Redskins have got to feel good about the way they've been able to move the football, but yet to only be up 3-0 at halftime after really having dominated the first half would be a little bit of a concern. And then on the other side of it, for the Eagles to have not played any better than they have offensively and to only be down 3 points, because it does surprise me that for Philadelphia, as we have said, they control their destiny right now. They just don't seem to be playing with a whole lot of urgency.
Yeah, and there's certainly more to be said about that. 2nd and 8. Over the middle, and what a hit. The pass is incomplete. Deshaun Jackson was hit by LaRon Landry. And the Eagles have to be thrilled just to see Jackson get up, and then that ball was nearly intercepted after the deflection.
Yeah, to have Jackson get up and then for the ball not to be intercepted, because the safety sitting back, LaRon Landry, he saw that the entire way and just drove on it. And just not a very good decision on McNabb's part in trying to fit that in.
Marcus Washington almost came away with the interception. Now 3rd and 8. Deshaun Jackson, the leading receiver for the Eagles, just 1 catch for 8 yards. And now whistle stop play. A timeout was taken.
First charge timeout, Philadelphia.
So there is no delay game, no flag, but a timeout taken by the Eagles. 3rd down when we come back for Philadelphia. Just 1 for 5 on 3rd downs here today are the Eagles. Last 3 games, 66%, and the Eagles have missed on their last 4 tries on 3rd down. We keep talking about the playoff implications for Philadelphia. The Redskins are barely alive, and if Atlanta hangs on and wins in Minnesota, Washington is officially eliminated after that great 6-2 start. 3rd down and 8. Four-man rush, the pass to the sideline, and it is caught by Reggie Brown. It's enough for a 1st down, and for Reggie Brown, the former leading receiver for this team, has been inactive the last 2 weeks.
Real frustrating for him too, being an active scratch, but a good route. You see the way he's able to push up on Fred Smoot, and he comes out of the break nicely, and a well-thrown ball by Donovan McNabb. Because Washington only rushed 4. It gave McNabb plenty of time to set his feet and deliver a good ball.
Look at that year for Reggie Brown, who last year had 61 catches for 780 yards and 4 touchdowns. This is Jackson on a reverse. Brought down by LaRon Landry after a gain of 7, and a penalty flag is down. And it's a hold against Philadelphia. It happened in the secondary.
Yeah, it looked like they called Reggie Brown.
Holding, offense, number 86. 10-yard penalty coming in to run. Replay, 1st down.
Here he is blocking D'Angelo Hall, and you see that he had the right hand there and had some jersey. The official was right there to make the call after a pretty good gain.
By the way, on that catch by Reggie Brown for the 1st down, he became the 10th Eagle with 200+ receiving yards. That's the first time that's happened in NFL history. Well, 10 players on this Eagles offense, Troy, with over 200 yards receiving.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty remarkable with the number of injuries they've had that they've been able to get any production throwing the football this year.
Here is trouble for McNabb. Has to pull it down and run, and is out of bounds at the 30. A gain of 3, pressured by Griffin for Washington.
And the reason that they have been able to still throw the football for the most part effectively this year is because of what you just said. I mean, their strength is in numbers, and each guy does a few things well. They don't have that number 1 go-to guy that jumps out that everybody has to game plan against. I guess Brian Westbrook would be that guy if there were one, but at the wide receiver position they don't. But they do a good job of spreading it around amongst the guys they have.
2nd down and 10. Handoff is to Westbrook, has some room in front of him, and a good play by D'Angelo Hall. A gain of 7, and it looked like a 1st down for sure for Westbrook.
Yeah, and I think this was a bad finish for Brian Westbrook. As you're going to see, it looked like he had an opportunity to stay inside right there in the lane if he just goes north and south and just goes and picks up the 1st down. Instead, trying to bounce that outside, and it goes back to what I said earlier in the game about D'Angelo Hall. You know, he does a good job of tackling in the open field. That's not an easy tackle to make, but I think if Westbrook had stayed inside of that and just put his shoulder down and ran forward, he would have picked up the 1st down.
Instead, it's 3rd and 3. Taylor coming off the edge, knocks the football away. London Fletcher on the return. So the turnover sets up Washington, and John Runyon, a tackle by big number 69, saved a touchdown.
Well, they're doing a good job in the secondary of just not giving places for Donovan McNabb to throw the ball. Again with time, and Taylor coming off the backside is able to pursue him and then knock it loose. And what a great effort there by John Runyon, being in a position to make the play. You know, London Fletcher is really a guy who's had an outstanding year at the middle linebacker position. He's always around the football, and because he is, he's then able to pick up the fumble. But a great play by John Runyon.
Here's Portis over the right side, and the middle linebacker Stuart Bradley makes the play, a gain of 2. And for Jason Taylor, a strip sack. Now has 120.5 sacks, and he has the top total among active players in the NFL, and now 3.5 in his first season with Washington.
Well, now the burden goes back to this Philadelphia defense, who, you know, really for the most part has played pretty well when you consider the fact they're not getting any help from the offensive side of the ball. They're going to be asked again to try to hold the Redskins to only a 3-point attempt.
2nd and 8. Campbell throws and completes to Cooley. Cooley sets up 1st and goal just outside the 5. Quentin Michael on the tackle for the Eagles.
You know, the Redskins really like the screens, and this time it's somewhat of a middle screen to where once Cooley's able to make the catch, a good catch at that, and you've got the linemen then that are out in front of him, he outruns those guys and just decided he was going to go get the first down on his own.
So 1st and goal as the Redskins try and turn that turnover forced by Jason Taylor into 7. Portis. Good play. Bunkley was in there on the tackle with Patterson. No gain. 2nd and goal.
Roderick Bunkley, you know, has emerged this year having his best season. In fact, Jim Johnson said he expected him to be voted into the Pro Bowl. He has been that good this year, and that's one of the big reasons, him along with Patterson, as you said, that's one of the reasons, the play of those two, that they've been so effective this year in stopping the run.
Second and goal. Clinton Portis just short of the goal line. Stuart Bradley made the stop, and you can see with the left foot they're going to mark him about 10 inches shy of breaking the plane of the goal line.
Well, you can see the power there that Clinton Portis runs with. Once he gets down around the goal line, he puts his shoulder down, his head down, a lot like I expected to see from Brian Westbrook on that 2nd down play that kept him from picking up the first. Clinton Portis does that. A good play by Quentin Michael, keeping him out.
Last week the Redskins tried to pound it into the end zone at Cincinnati with Mike Sellers. This time they give to Portis. Touchdown. And the first rushing touchdown for Clinton Portis in the last 4 games. It's 10-0. The strip by Jason Taylor. Got around Runyon. Took it away from McNabb. Portis did the rest. 10-0 for Jim Zorn's team. Only the 7th Washington touchdown in their last 7 games, and Clinton Portis got to hand the football to his mom in the end zone after scoring the touchdown, his 75th career touchdown, 71st rushing. And the uphill climb gets a little more steep for the Eagles, needing this game. So Clinton Portis found his way into the end zone, and Jim Zorn celebrates a 10-0 lead over the Eagles. For the moment, Donovan McNabb has lost his best target on the outside. Deshaun Jackson getting his ribs looked at in the locker room. That means that McNabb is without Deshaun Jackson, Kevin Curtis, and Hank Baskett. Curtis and Baskett were inactive to start the day, and here is Greg Lewis, who goes down to get it. And a gain of 5 out to the 25-yard line. This January, Fox once again brings you the greatest week in college football, beginning on New Year's Day with the FedEx Orange Bowl, the AT&T Cotton Bowl, the Allstate Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and then finally the FedEx BCS National Championship game. FedEx Bowl Bash begins January 1st right here on Fox in high def. 2nd and 5. Underneath and trying to set up a screen for Westbrook, and he had Anthony Montgomery on his back grabbing a hold of him, but no flag. Watch number 94 come in and take Brian Westbrook right out of the play.
Yeah, he picked that up and saw the screen coming and was able to get him off track. And you know, we talked about how committed the Eagles have been to running the football over the last 3 weeks. That's primarily been because they haven't trailed. And now looking at a 10-point deficit. Not that they can't still run the football, still early in the third quarter, but now more of a sense of urgency and starting to throw the ball more than they have.
McNabb guns it to L.J. Smith for an Eagle first down. Out to the 41 and a half, a 16-yard completion, longest play of the day for Philly.
And Trey Thomas in his 11th year there at left tackle doing a good job against Andre Carter. And you know, another chance for Donovan McNabb, had he have wanted to run for that one, but he had a wide open L.J. Smith, and they're able to convert a very important third down.
Odd start to that play as Westbrook trying to get to the edge, nowhere to go. Fletcher, Carter, D'Angelo Hall, a loss of 1. You think about that October 5th matchup back in Philadelphia. The Eagles led 14-0 after a quarter. Since then, the Redskins have outscored the Eagles 33-3. And now Deshaun Jackson is back onto the field, out of the locker room, but so far out of the huddle. 2nd down and 11. Down the sideline, what a pass! Westbrook down inside the 15. Perfect throw from Donovan McNabb.
Just a well-executed play. You see that Westbrook lines up in the backfield off play action. They get him out in the flat, and look who they've got trying to cover him. I mean, he pulls a hamstring. Alexander, a defensive lineman who, because of the coverage and the scheme that they were running defensively, they thought that that was a play that they could maybe give some help elsewhere. But I can't imagine ever wanting to take a chance on anyone other than a corner on Brian Westbrook. You know, they had the right call. Philadelphia just had the right call up against the defense that Greg Blosch had called on, and they took advantage of it.
They just reset the play clock because of the injury to Lorenzo Alexander, who pulled just about everything trying to cover Brian Westbrook down the field. And for Westbrook, his first catch for 47 yards to set up a first down at the 12.
Well, they needed a big play, the Eagles did, and I can't imagine anybody not pulling a hamstring trying to keep up with Westbrook. I mean, that's the one they'll go back and look at and say, that was not a good call. We should never have even had that in the game plan.
Deshaun Jackson back on the field in the slot toward the top of the screen. 1st and 10. McNabb over the middle, and the pass nearly picked off by Landry, who was behind L.J. Smith. 2nd and 10, and good pressure by Andre Carter of the Redskins.
I'll tell you what, Donovan has taken some chances throwing the football in this game. You had Deshaun Jackson there. You know, it's just hard to pick up these guys. He had pressure, but you know, Donovan has thrown it into some crowds, and he's been fortunate so far that none of those have been intercepted.
2nd and 10. Complete to Avant. Down to the 5, a gain of 7. It'll be 3rd down and about 3.5. Under 5.5 to play 3rd quarter, and it is all on the line here for the Eagles. Needing a win to stay very much alive in the playoff picture in the NFC. Fake the handoff, pass complete to Westbrook, and he is tackled on a beautiful tackle by Chris Horton, the rookie. It brings up 4th down and will bring the field goal unit on for the Eagles, and that was all Horton, the 249th overall pick in this past draft.
I just think that's a hard play down here this close to the goal line because the defense never feels threatened, so the field is so compacted that by the time the ball finally gets to the receiver, the defense is then right on top of him.
22-yard try by Akers. And finally, with 4:18 left in the 3rd quarter, the Eagles are on the scoreboard. Now down by 7. That drive for the Eagles, which resulted in the 22-yard field goal by Akers, 76-yard drive. The previous 6 drives for Philadelphia had netted 89 yards. Westbrook a 47-yard catch, the big bite of yardage on that drive, and now a 7-point Redskins lead as they're about to get it back. Line drive kick into the wind, and Cartwright stops it, picks it up, and on the return crosses the 25 to the 27.5. Clinton Portis has already scored. One of the most powerful in the NFL. Back to the field, up 7. Starting at their own 28, up by 7, are the Redskins. Their offensive leaders, Campbell, 16 for 24. Portis has the touchdown and 5 catches for Santana Moss. Shut out in the first meeting between these two in Philly. Campbell scrambles and hits Antoine Randall L., who then gets hit by Samuel. We go back to that stop by Chris Horton.
Yeah, you're going to see Chris Horton. He's right here. And then L.J. Smith, he's supposed to come around and actually block him. But he runs by him, as you see right there. And Chris Horton, who makes a good play on it, is able to get sideline to sideline. And you see Andy Reid. He saw that had L.J. Smith have been able to pick off Chris Horton, there's a good chance that that play would have worked for a touchdown.
First down, Washington. Campbell to run, and he is walloped by Dawkins after a gain of 9.
This was a legal hit too. I mean, you look at it and you think, well, maybe he was out of bounds, but he wasn't anywhere close. His feet are still in play, and takes a pretty good lick at the end of this one. And boy, I tell you, you don't take too many of those as a quarterback before you realize you need to get out of bounds with a little more urgency. And you know, casually getting to the sideline and running straight up and down is going to get you killed one of these days.
2nd down and 1. Game break coming your way after this play. And it's Portis. He's got a first down. Let's go to Kurt.
Well, you want to see a hard hit on a quarterback. Check out Matt Ryan, the Falcon rookie. Going airborne on this one. Minnesota separates him from the ball, but Atlanta recovers in the end zone. Tight end Justin Blaylock gets it, and the Falcons lead 24-7 in the third quarter. Once again, a win, and they clinch a wild card spot. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
And they also would eliminate the Redskins officially from the playoff picture. Matt Ryan in his rookie year. Rookie year as a head coach for Mike Smith. What a season it's been for Atlanta. And the guy who came in third in the NFL in rushing, Clinton Portis, gets 11, brought down by Dawkins with 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
You're going to see the line and the surge that they get. They go up the right side and they get the push. You got Fabini there leading the way, and Randy Thomas and the hole. And Clinton Portis generally doesn't need much of a hole to pick up some pretty good yardage, and that was bigger than most.
Portis checks out. Liddell Betts comes in. First down, Washington. Campbell is sacked. Brought down on the play by Trent Cole. And that moves the ball back just outside the Philadelphia 43.
Tell you what a nice job by Trent Cole. And you see Stephon Hires in a good position. And then as soon as Campbell starts to step up in the pocket, Cole comes off of that and is able to make the sack. So while he's trying to beat the tackle, he's got his eyes at the quarterback, seeing where he's going. And that's why he was able to make the play.
Second and 15, a toss to Betts. Left side, got a good block. Penalty flag comes in. Penalty flag came flying from the secondary, and it's a hold against Washington.
Holding, offense, number 47, 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
That's Chris Cooley, the Pro Bowl tight end, second straight Pro Bowl for number 47.
Cooley out in motion and then blocking in space. He does a good job of this. He's not always an end-to-line blocker. I didn't see much there that warranted a flag. In fact, I didn't see anything.
And it takes the ball now back just shy of the Eagles 47. And they're still looking at Portis. Second and 18. Play action from Campbell. Underneath, it's Liddell Betts. And Jordan makes the play for Philadelphia. Gain of only 5 with 38 seconds left in the third quarter. Right now, the Redskins are definitely outside of field goal range for Sweezum. And it's 3rd and 13.
Well, I tell you, Joe, you just wonder how long of a career Clinton Portis. I mean, he's still a young guy. He's just in his 7th season. But each year, it seems like he gets banged up more and more. And you know, that running style certainly will take a toll.
Third quarter winding down, and the pass is high and incomplete for Moss. And you go back to the play made by Trent Cole. The sack is what started this little push by the Philadelphia defense, which shoved the Redskins right out of field goal range. And now on 4th down, the Eagles defense forces a punt.
Yeah, and I don't know that it was a sack that Jason Campbell needed to take. You know, I mean, you know that when you're playing the Eagles, they can get after you pretty good up front. And that's the one thing, you know, Jason can get a little nonchalant at times in the pocket.
Deshaun Jackson, the rookie, calls for the fair catch and hauls it in inside the 10. Take a break, come back. No time left on the clock. We are through 3 in Washington. We start the fourth quarter, and starting at their own 9 are the Eagles, down by 7 in a game they have to have. Wind is swirling down there, but for the most part, the Eagles are playing with the wind at their backs here in this last period. McNabb to start with a throw, and throws out of the reach of Reggie Brown. Brian Dawkins, who very well could end up with a Hall of Fame career, trying to pump up his teammates during the break.
Yeah. I never liked that guy when I was playing that would do that. And I like Brian Dawkins. I'm not saying that. But there's not a guy out there on the field right now offensively that doesn't know exactly what they have to do to go win this football game.
Well, you think of where the Eagles have been this season. You know, the last 9 games, it has been a roller coaster ride. But now they've got 1 quarter left in this game to try and stay alive. Underneath, it's Westbrook. Good tackle by London Fletcher. A 6-yard catch and a brief run by Westbrook, and London Fletcher, who's never missed a game in his NFL career, in his 11th season out of John Carroll, and a Super Bowl champion with the Rams in '99, made that play. 3rd down and 4. And Deshaun Jackson doesn't look like he's too healthy. After taking that big shot from Landry in the 3rd quarter. McNabb throws, and the pass is incomplete for Avant.
I tell you, Joe, that's a few of those now that we've seen from Donovan McNabb. Just a low ball. He's got a chance for Avant to make the play, and you can see it hops, and he missed the throw on 1st down as well. But there's guys that he's got some injured players. I understand that, but there have been some throws that would allow you to move chains with open receivers, and he just has not put the ball on him.
You can see Avant pop up and say throw the challenge flag. That ball skipped in. No challenge by Andy Reid, and now Sav Rocca with Santana Moss on the return. Making moves, penalty flags fly. Flags are down as Rocca makes the tackle. But it looks like this is against Washington and could eliminate a 31-yard return by Santana Moss.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 41, receiving team. 10-yard penalty. Philadelphia keeps the ball. Timeout.
They get Kareem Moore for the block in the back. Washington will have it. 4th quarter, up 7. There's a penalty on Kareem Moore with a block in the back of Avant. And instead of starting at the Philadelphia 33, the Redskins start at their own 30. 37 yards in field position because of that penalty. Up by 7. A blitz. Campbell keeps it and now throws it, and the pass is incomplete for Devin Thomas. Closing on it was the Pro Bowler Asante Samuel.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Joe, that was a close throw too, because Devin Thomas, I thought he made a pretty good play on keeping Asante Samuel from driving on that. Asante Samuel has some of the best closing speed on a ball that there is in the NFL. He's cluing the quarterback. He's driving back on that, but because Devin Thomas went back to the football, he kept Asante Samuel from having a free run at intercepting that pass.
2nd and 10. And Portis just gets swallowed up by Chris Gocone. A loss of 3. Once a year, there's one event we can all look forward to. One event that brings America together like no other. One event that gives us a reason to cheer. TV's biggest phenomenon is back. American Idol, the new season, begins this January right here on Fox.
You know, you kind of get the feeling watching this game that if the Eagles are going to make a play and tie this game up, that it's going to have to come from the defense making a special play as they have at times this year.
One of the best teams on 3rd down defensively in the league is Philadelphia, trying to make a stop here. Campbell picks it up, and a 1st down out across the 45 to the 47. A 19-yard run by Jason Campbell.
You know, Jason Campbell does not run a lot. As I said a little bit earlier, he's a pocket passer, but he does have the ability. He's got good quickness and he's got good speed, and what an opportune time there. He sees the opening down the field. He's able to go pick up a big 1st down for this Redskin team. You know, those are the type of plays that, you know, Jim Zorn, you don't call those. Sometimes a guy just steps up and makes a play, and that's what Campbell did.
First down, handoff is to Portis, and he is brought down almost immediately. Let's go for a game break. Here's Kurt.
If Denver can beat Buffalo, they win the AFC West. If they lose, it sets up a match next week against San Diego for the title. And Buffalo trying to help out the Chargers. They lead at 23-20 thanks to the touchdown by Steven Johnson. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
Wow. This league is crazy, isn't it?
It really is. And to think where the Denver Broncos were at the start of the season and now where they are, they could have a head-to-head matchup next week for the division with San Diego, who won today in Tampa Bay. Quick throw by Campbell to pass incomplete. Fred Davis, the tight end, and rookie, the intended receiver, and Dawkins made the play. There's nobody more charged up down in that field than Brian Dawkins, who, as I mentioned, was named to his 7th Pro Bowl during the week, and the only Eagle ever to go to more, Chuck Bednarik, with 8.
Yeah, and a guy who started out the year was not very healthy. A lot of people suggested that maybe this was going to be his last year. He's been playing exceptionally well, and for someone in his 13th season, he understands that he may not get too many more opportunities than the one they have before him right now.
182nd career game played with the Eagles. A blitz coming from Michael, and the pass is dropped by Asante Samuel. Quentin Michael came about 20 yards on that blitz, maybe more, and the ball could have and maybe should have been picked off by Samuel.
Yeah, you see Quentin Michael, 27. He came from deep. He gets pressure, and Campbell was just trying to throw that ball away. And almost a huge mistake, because there was no reason for him to try to get the ball that far down the field to throw it away. Asante Samuel normally makes those catches.
Asante Samuel was brought to the Eagles and paid by the Eagles to make interceptions like that, as this one checks up inside the 5. So from what could have been to what is for Philadelphia. In a game they need what could have been an interception by Samuel. What is a 50-yard punt, no return, and starting at their own 3.
Hi everybody, this is John Eubanks from Kabul, Afghanistan. Just wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hannah and Alyssa, I hope Santa Claus brings you all the presents you wanted this year, because I know you've been great girls. Love you, Aisha. Bye-bye.
A nice greeting during this holiday season, and now for the Eagles, 3rd time today and the 2nd straight time they've started inside their own 10. This drive begins at the 3. Down by 7. McNabb, a quick setup and throw, and the pass is caught by Deshaun Jackson. Bad ribs and all, he keeps playing, a gain of 6. Talked about that opportunity by Asante Samuel. You said the defense may have to come up with a play. Samuel was in position but just dropped it.
Yeah, those are the plays you have to make. I mean, when you're in a close ball game like this, the teams that make those kinds of plays are the teams that invariably go on and win.
When you think about the difference in field position as the play clock is down inside of 10 now, having to start at their own 3 instead of outside their own 40. 2nd down and 4. McNabb pulls it back and throws incomplete for Selleck. Good play by Hall. 3rd and 4.
Well, I'll tell you, on this series, Washington defensively went back to the 3 corners with 1 safety. 4 defensive backs, 3 of those being corners, and matching up with Philadelphia. So they put their better cover guys out on the field, and Greg Blosch has done a good job of that all season long, taking the talents of the players that he has, the players that are healthy, and formulating a game plan that has worked very well for him for most of the year.
Big 3rd down here for the Eagles. 3rd and 4. McNabb with plenty of time throws behind L.J. Smith. He is short of a 1st down, a gain of only 1.5 yards.
You got no chance when you're making throws to guys and they've got to come back to the football. They're falling backwards when they make the play, and they're not able to catch it and run with it. So he comes out to L.J. Smith and a ball that's behind him and low, and I don't know that he picks up the 1st down anyway, but no chance after that.
Sabraka hits it, and it is going to be marked on the Philadelphia side of midfield at the 44-yard line, where the Redskins will have it up 7. Ryan Plaquemire, the punter for the Redskins, has done a nice job, and that's why in this second half the average starting field position for the Eagles is at their own 12.
Which is even more reason that you'd say it's been pretty impressive what Philadelphia's been able to do defensively to keep this game as close as what it is.
7-point game, first down at the Philadelphia 44 for Washington. Portis gets a couple. Brought down by Quentin Michael. Had help from Trent Cole. The playoff picture, you have the division leaders. Panthers have wrapped up a spot. The Giants have clinched the East already. The Vikings are losing 24-10 at home to Atlanta. The Cardinals have already clinched their spot. Then you've got the Falcons and the Eagles right now leading that wild card chase, but you cannot count out the Cowboys, especially in light of what's happening here with the Eagles in Washington and of course the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Second down and 8. This one is dropped by Portis. The other team to just keep in the back of your mind is Chicago. They still have at least a chance of winning the NFC North if they beat Green Bay tomorrow night and then win their finale. Minnesota loses today and then loses at home to the Giants next week. The Bears win the North.
Still a lot of things that can happen, and still a lot of things that can happen in this game. I mean, considering the fact that Washington was given great field position and as well as their defense has played, could really put this game away with 3 points and make it a 2-possession game. It's a big third down here.
Another blitz from the Eagles. Here's Betts, and he's brought down short of first down yardage. And we'll see what the decision is by Jim Zorn.
Well, it looks like they're considering going for it here on 4th down.
Nope. They're going to trust Plaquemire to do what he's done a couple times in this game, which is punted down inside the 5.
You know, I think that Jim, and that's smart on his part, that on 3rd down you run the football thinking, hey, there's a good chance if we pick up pretty good yardage and we're just short of it, then I go for it on 4th down. But because it is 4th and 3 or 4 here, punt the football.
Plaquemire hits it end over end, and the fair catch at the 10 by Deshaun Jackson. And so far in this game, the Washington Redskins have done just that. They've been defending their turf, the defense back on the field. Redskins up 7. (10-3) now, 4th quarter, 8:15 left. You see Andy Reid, and it's all sitting out in front of Andy Reid's offense right now, down by 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's time for Philadelphia to do something offensively if they're going to get back and have a chance to win this game. Not great field position, as we've shown. They haven't had good field position here in the entire second half, but you know, they're depleted somewhat at the wide receiver position. I understand that, but it's time for somebody to make a play for this offense.
And it starts with Donovan McNabb, who guns it, and it's incomplete, intended for Reggie Brown, and D'Angelo Hall, who was added to this roster November 8th and who has played extremely well for the Redskins, broke it up.
Yeah, it looked like Reggie might have been able to do a little bit more to create some separation, but the ball he does have a chance. If he works back into the ball there, he can make a play, and you know, Donovan wasn't looking that way, but had he might have been able to get the ball out there to Deshaun Jackson. You never know how players are reacting to when the ball is thrown. But I'm surprised they've gotten away from running the football as much as they have here in this second half.
2nd and 10. The pass is complete, not dropped. They are calling it incomplete. No catch. Deshaun Jackson had it for an instant and then lost it.
I think they were fortunate there because that was close. Deshaun Jackson, it looked like he had it, but probably a good call. Did not have it long enough to warrant saying that he had possession of the football, but fortunate there for the Eagles. And you know, I think that when you get into tough situations as they're in right now, Philadelphia, you go back to what you're comfortable doing, And Andy has been heavy throwing the football in this second half.
3rd down and 10. McNabb throws and skips it in to Deshaun Jackson. And that's 3 and out when the Philadelphia Eagles needed to, at the very least, start to gain a little bit in the field position war.
Well, this is another low football, and that's where they've been all day long. If he gets that up, you know, Jackson has a chance to come back to the football. But what I'd like to see the Eagles do more of is have some receivers running away from these defenders. Everything is coming back to Donovan, and they're just not able to really create much separation within their passing game.
Antoine Randall L. doing the most with it, breaking tackles, but in the end a short return of just 1 yard. Let's go for a game break. Here's Kurt.
Buffalo's Fred Jackson, who's from my alma mater, Coe College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, puts the Bills on top of the Broncos with the 8-yard run. It's 30-23, less than 9 minutes left. Once again, if Denver loses, that means they set up a matchup next week in San Diego with the Chargers, the winner taking the AFC West. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
Wow, and the Chargers with an impressive win on the road against the Buccaneers earlier today. Jackson is frustrated, as is the Philadelphia offense. 3 fourth-quarter possessions. They've had 3 3-and-outs. 7:44 left in the fourth, and Clinton Portis picks up a yard. Think about the season, and Portis is slow to get up. And they're going to stop the clock and bring the trainers onto the field.
Boy, it's a little bit like Derek Mason last night in that game against the Cowboys. The Ravens receiver and the bad shoulder, and about 3 or 4 times during that game he was gutting it out, but had to come out and then he'd be back out there on the field. That's a lot like what we've seen from Clinton Portis here in this one.
Bothered by back spasms during the week. And for Clinton, it's been a series of injuries: a knee, a hip, a neck. And he came in with only 131 yards over his last 3 games. He's been much more of a factor here today against Andy Reid's Eagles.
I'll tell you what, Jim Johnson, he should be proud of the job that he's done defensively, because this offense for Philadelphia has put his defense in a bind this entire second half, and yet the defense by and large has played exceptionally well, not making this a 2-possession game.
2nd down and 9. Liddell Betts over the left side. Cole and Michael combined for the tackle. A gain of 5. 3rd down coming up. Really, you take away offensively for the Eagles 147-yard completion to Brian Westbrook down the sideline, and the Eagles offense has done virtually nothing, averaging 3 yards per play in what has been a very poor day for Donovan McNabb throwing the ball, and this Eagles offense moving the ball.
Yeah, and just watching them throughout the game, the entire offensive group, they just have seemed, I don't want to say disinterested, but they just haven't played with the emotion that we've seen from them over the last 3 games.
3rd down and 4. Quick throw, and now a drop by Antoine Randall L. So whether it's the drop or the play of the defense, Philadelphia's crew under Jim Johnson continues to give the offense a chance. But can they do anything with the opportunity, as Deshaun Jackson will wait for another Ryan Plaquemire punt?
And the one thing that the Eagles have not been able to do is they've not been able to flip field position. They've not done enough on offense to get the ball on the other end of the field and then play good defense and then get the ball offensively in a pretty good position. It's going to take a special teams return.
Plaquemire hits it, drives it high into the wind and finally into the end zone. So a little breathing room for the Eagles, who will start down by 7 at their own 20 as we look ahead to what's coming up on the OT.
Coming up on the OT postgame show, the Titans grab the top spot in the AFC. The NFC wildcard race is wide open, and the Lions break a record for futility. We'll have all the scores, highlights, analysis, and the updated playoff picture when we come up with the OT right after your game. Back to you, Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, Kurt, thank you. And the record is now 0-15. No team had ever done that. No team has ever gone winless in a 16-game season. And that's what the Lions will face next weekend. Meanwhile, Philadelphia needs a touchdown. 6 minutes left. McNabb's going to air it out. Deshaun Jackson dropped it off his hands, incomplete.
Well, that's the best opportunity that they've really had all day long of completing a pass down the field. Deshaun Jackson catches D'Angelo Hall just peeking inside and runs right by him, and a pretty good thrown ball there by Donovan. You know, not an easy catch, but when it hits you right in the chest like that, that's one you've got to make.
That is the 6th Eagle drop in this game. And right off the left shoulder of Deshaun Jackson. Low snap pass is complete to L.J. Smith, and he's got nowhere to go. Springs made the play, gain of only 1, and here are the Eagles again with a long 3rd down. It's 3rd and 9.
I've seen a lot of throws to the outside, a lot of short passes with defenders all over the receivers. I think this Washington defense has done a heck of a job. You know, coming in here against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are on a roll offensively, moving the ball, scoring points, and they've made plays. You know, Greg Blosh talked about we have to do it when it matters, and up to this point, they have done that.
McNabb flushed out. Won't pick it up. And this Eagles offense has been completely shut down. Less than 20 yards on 12 plays in this 4th quarter. That is unbelievable for an offense that came in rolling. And the punt team back onto the field.
Yeah, and part of it is that there's just nowhere for Donovan to really go with the football, and then he gets flushed out, as you can tell. But I got to tell you, you watch this game and you start asking yourself, you know, who's playing for the playoff spot?
Good punt by Rocca. Antoine Randall L. on the return into Eagle territory. No penalty flags on the play. Down at the 45 of Philadelphia. 36-yard return by Antoine Randall L., his longest of the season.
You know, there for a minute it looked like the Eagles might finally flip field position, but Antoine Randall L., I mean, there were some players there for the Eagles that had opportunities to make plays, and they're just unable to do it. A good return there by Antoine Randall L., a guy who I think is highly underrated for all the things that he's capable of doing. One of the more versatile players in the National Football League.
Under 5 to play. Handoff is to Clinton Portis. Back to the line of scrimmage. Another game break. Here's Kurt.
Jet quarterback Brett Favre going into Seattle to face his former mentor Mike Holmgren. Holmgren wins his last home game as Seahawk head coach 13-3. But the bad news for the Jets, Joe, Troy, and Pam, is that with the loss, they face Miami next week. The winner could win the AFC East. The loser could miss the playoffs entirely.
So now 0-4 on the West Coast are the New York Jets.
I don't know that I ever remember a year where so many games going into the second to last weekend and last weekend determined so much.
2nd down and 10. Portis over the left side. This Philly defense is still playing. Their offense isn't doing anything. But the defense for Philadelphia making plays, and now with 4:01 left, the Eagles will spend their 2nd timeout of this half. And here are some key plays in this game. The strip sack by Taylor that led to the touchdown by Clinton Portis. The only touchdown of this game. Good defensive play by this Washington team under the direction of Greg Blosh. Good play by the rookie Chris Horton to save a touchdown with Westbrook. And for Philadelphia, just 185 total yards on the day.
Well, and now if you're the Washington Redskins in a game like this, winning having a nice performance, if they do go on to win, you think back to the loss they had last week against Cincinnati and how that basically eliminated any playoff chances.
And earlier in the year, a home loss to the St. Louis Rams, which is hard to believe at this point. Blitz from Dawkins. Betts picked him up, and the pass broken up by Sheldon Brown. Penalty flag is down back in the area where Betts was blocking Dawkins, and it's a hold against Washington.
Holding offense, number 61. The penalty decline. The result of the play will be 4th down.
And again, Plaquemire onto the field, and right now neither offense can get anything done.
Yeah, pretty remarkable, because if the Redskins had been able to get a first down on that possession, more than likely the next possession, even without a first down, would have ended with them attempting a field goal to make it a 2-possession game, and that basically ends the game from what we've seen. Another great job defensively by the Eagles.
Plaquemire hits it, and it will go out of bounds. He might be the MVP of this game. Out of bounds at the 9. Animation domination gives the gifts that keep on giving with The Simpsons, King of the Hill, Family Guy, and American Dad. That starts tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Right after the OT, viewer discretion is advised. And now with 3:48 left, starting at their own 9, are the Eagles. And Troy, you think about how their season started. Philadelphia started 2-3, then went on a good run. Got 3 straight wins at San Francisco, at home against Atlanta, at Seattle. Then those 3 games, a loss against the Giants, the tie at Cincinnati, the loss at Baltimore when McNabb was benched. Since then, a 3-game win streak, but absolutely nothing offensively here in this game. Handoff is to Westbrook. So they do try and run it, and a gain of 2.
Well, I know with the Eagles, you talk about their schedule and what has happened. A lot of attention clearly to the tie against Cincinnati, but I really think you got to go much earlier in the year when they lost to Chicago, and they had a chance to punch that one in. And but that's the case with each team. Every team that doesn't make the playoffs this year is going to look back at certain games and say, that was an opportunity that we let go by, and this would certainly be one if Philadelphia doesn't do it here.
Yeah, the Eagles might have to not look back very far. Pass is complete, and that's Reggie Brown. A gain of 9 and a rare first down. It had been 4 straight 3-and-outs prior to that.
It's amazing. You just get used to seeing the Eagles catch the ball on the move, and there's been none of that here in this game other than the play to Westbrook.
McNabb underneath hits Westbrook. Brian Westbrook is out to the 28, picked up 6. 1 timeout remaining for the Eagles. Westbrook limps off, and of course the 2-minute warning approaching here with 2.5 left.
Yeah, they're hoping to get off 2 or 3 plays before the 2-minute warning, but they're not moving as quickly as what they need to, and there seems to be some real indecision, and maybe that's because they're relying on some receivers that don't generally play the positions they're currently in.
McNabb again underneath, passes behind Buckhalter, but he makes the play and a first down out to the 35. And again, a receiver having to reach behind him to make the catch. First down for Philadelphia on the other side of the 2-minute warning. Down by 7 in a game they need to win. We saw Brian Westbrook limp off moments ago prior to that last play, the completion of Buckhalter for the first down. And that's what happened right in the middle of the field. Made the play, then left the field, and now back in the lineup. 2nd down and 4, 2 minutes left, 1 timeout for Philadelphia. Passes on the back shoulder of L.J. Smith, makes the play out to the 41, 2nd down.
Well, Westbrook is struggling running. That's pretty obvious, but I think that he understands, and certainly Andy Reid does, that when he's on the field, he at least dictates some things that the Redskins are going to try to do against him.
2nd and 4. Again underneath. Avant. First down at midfield. 1.5 minutes remaining, 1 timeout left. 9-yard completion to Jason Avant.
I tell you, they change sides of receivers. Normally you don't do that because it takes so much time off the clock to get the guys realigned.
Westbrook, or rather McNabb, fires low for Avant. Incomplete. 1:10 left. 2nd down and 10. The Eagles, even if they lose here today, are not eliminated. Still be a half game behind Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay will host the Oakland Raiders next week, and Philadelphia has that big date with the Cowboys at home next Sunday. But their road is made a lot easier if they win here and then go home and beat Dallas next week. 2nd and 10. Pass is caught and out of bounds is Reggie Brown. They mark him at the Washington 40, and it's enough for a 1st down.
You know, it's interesting that the Redskins have played so well defensively, but when you get into these hurry-up situations, even though they huddled there, you see Fred Smoot, there's a tendency for a defensive back to be so concerned about giving up the big play that they then tend to play a lot softer than they normally play during any other point in the game.
This defense has played so well up to this point. McNabb, a pump fake going to the end zone for Jackson. Incomplete. Good throw, and Jackson got behind D'Angelo Hall, but incomplete.
So it took great protection in order for Donovan to allow Jackson to get far enough down the field, and a perfectly thrown ball by Donovan McNabb. That's 2 now that he's made to Deshaun Jackson, and Jackson has just been unable to make the play. That's an easy touchdown for the Eagles and should have been caught. You get so few chances for big plays, and that's 2 now that the Eagles could have had.
7 drops, 4 are by Deshaun Jackson in this game. This is L.J. Smith left alone underneath, and L.J. has a 1st down inside the 30. Clock continues to run with 45 seconds left and 1 timeout for Donovan McNabb in his pocket. And he will stop the clock by throwing it to the turf at the Washington 29.
You know, the Redskins on that last play, they brought blitz. You're going to see it here. And when they do, it opens up that area for L.J. Smith. You see the hole right here, and there's no defender then in the area. That just happens sometimes when you bring pressure and you leave a zone open, and sometimes you got the right call and you get a receiver in that area.
The Eagles are playing without Kevin Curtis and Hank Baskett. 2nd down and 10. This one is dropped by Avant, who gets a big hit from Landry. And another good throw from Donovan McNabb, but not able to connect with Jason Avant.
I tell you though, Donovan's got to be careful of that guy right there. And you've got to move him somehow, because if he's able to move him, then LaRon Landry doesn't put the big hit on Avant. It was a good thrown ball, and a lot of balls in these types of situations get contested, but staring that one down the middle is dangerous.
Now 3rd down and 10. A blitz underneath. It's Westbrook, dragged down by London Fletcher, short of 1st down yardage, and now the clock is stopped with 4th down coming up.
You can just tell that Westbrook is not healthy. I mean, when he's got Fletcher, who's an awfully good player and a guy that can run, but one-on-one in the middle of the field, Westbrook generally will run away from London Fletcher.
Final timeout taken by the Eagles. 27 seconds remain, but a big 4th down when play resumes. Here's Westbrook.
And you see, and he puts the stutter move on him there, but once he catches it, he's just not able to accelerate. He's out there giving it everything that he has. He came into this game as healthy as he's been in a long time, and he's going to leave the game like he has a lot of other times this season, and that's not feeling very well.
4th down and 4. A new audience joins us. Philadelphia with a 4th down and 4, out of timeouts, needing a touchdown to tie this game, and a game they need to have. 27 seconds remain. The biggest play of the season to this point right here for the Eagles. 3-man rush. Underneath, it's Westbrook, and he's got enough for a first down. No timeouts left. Clock continues to run. And now 12 seconds remain. And a chance for McNabb to take a couple of shots into the end zone.
He's going to get 2 shots. And with no timeouts, he's got to be really, really careful throwing anything short of the goal line. He can work the sideline, assuming that the receiver can then get out of bounds. But even if he sees an open receiver short of the goal line, he's got to be certain that that guy can then cross the goal line, because otherwise they won't be able to get off a second play.
So now on first down, McNabb with a pocket, throws, end zone, just short of the end zone. That's Reggie Brown. 2 seconds left, 1 second left, game over. Brown did not get in. Came back for the football and was short of the end zone. If we have a review, it will come from the officials' booth, and here's another look. And a pretty clear look that Reggie Brown did not break the plane to the goal line.
Yeah, and LaRon Landry, again, the guy who keeps him from being able to get the ball across the goal line. Maybe he's able to against Fred Smoot, but once Landry got in there, just no chance. And you wonder if maybe Reggie Brown cut that route just a little short. I mean, if he gets deeper in the end zone, he's able to drive and then be in the end zone at the point of the catch.
So that close. Right now we're under an official's review. Right to the edge of the goal line. But it appeared short. The game clock expired, and now we're just waiting for the review of the play. And LaRon Landry, who has been hitting everything that moves out here today, made sure that Reggie Brown did not reach and break the plane of the goal line.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands. So the receiver is not in the end zone. The game is over.
And so for Jim Zorn, who during the week said he felt like the worst coach in the country, his team came out and beat a Philadelphia team that needed to win here today and then win next weekend at home against Dallas to find themselves in the playoffs. Philadelphia is not eliminated, but they need help next week from the Oakland Raiders. We'll come back and wrap up, then the OT. So close, but a loss for the Eagles here on the road as the Redskins have a season series sweep. Heartbreak for the Eagles here today in Landover. The Philadelphia Eagles came close with the game clock expiring. This completion to Reggie Brown literally inches short of breaking the plane of the goal line, and with that the Redskins won it. Atlanta won. They beat Minnesota, so the Redskins are officially eliminated from playoff contention, but they played hard here today. And the UPS leaderboard, UPS, what can Brown do for you? Jason Campbell, 144 yards. Portis, 70 yards, and the only touchdown of the game. And Santana Moss, 5 catches, 28 yards. The only touchdown drive of this game went for 18 yards by the Washington Redskins, capped by Clinton Portis. Disappointment on the part of Brian Dawkins and the Eagles. The OT coming up on the other side of the break. So long from Landover, Maryland.